Giving up is something that I've done many times in my life, and most people do with big things and small things. Giving up is a choice, and it is okay to give up, but every time you do give up, it will hurt you, it will upset you, and I believe that really anything you do in life, when you stop doing that thing, that's when you really lose, right? Failing or losing or not achieving what you want is okay, but giving up and stop trying to do that thing, that's when you really lose. That's when you really just give up, and that pains you so much. Again, giving up is an okay thing to do if that's what you must do, but most of the time it will be more painful to give up than it is to push forward. At the end of last year, I ran my first marathon, and it took me back to when I was running when I was about 105 kg, and I would run about 10k most days, and then I'd do gym. And I lost so much weight in that period of time that I actually stopped running, and I was just doing the gym. And I went on a diet and I lost a considerable amount. I mean, I sit about 80, 85 now. And I remember when I was at my healthiest running, and it felt so crazy. It felt like I could run for ages. And it was after about 6 months of not running that I'd lost all this weight, and I was really healthy physically, and I'd do so amazing at it. At this time, this is years ago now, and before I started training for my marathon, I had not run properly for probably about maybe around a year or so. And I gave myself a month, and it wasn't because I thought that I was healthy, because I knew that I wasn't the healthiest I have ever been. But I knew that if I could run 10 km every single day when I was unhealthy and I was fat, I could do it when I could run a marathon when I wasn't. A lot of people like to think that, oh, they're not fit enough to do that. But honestly, running, once you conquer your mind, running, you can do it. It's like walking, right? People like to put themselves in a box of what they can and cannot do. And the reality is you may not be able to run a marathon, but if I dropped you in the middle of a desert and I said water is 26 miles that way, you're gonna get there. Like, you will be able to do it. And that's the difference, right? It's controlling your mind to understand what you can do. But most of the times you put a limit on what you can do because of who you are, the way you look, the way you think, your ability. You like to put limitations, and these limitations are their comfort, right? Oh, I can't read because I have dyslexia. I can't concentrate because I have ADHD. I can't walk because I have a hip problem. Something like that, right? You like to put limitations on what you can and cannot do, and the reality is those things might make it harder for you to do the thing that you want to do or are doing. But that doesn't mean you cannot do it in total. I've given up many times in my life on certain things, and it has always pained me, always. And when I was on the run for my marathon, I told myself at the beginning of the year this was something I was going to do. And it's something that I pushed aside, and I wasn't really doing until the last month, where I trained a little bit. And I said to myself that I need to keep this promise to myself. And I, be honest, going into it, I thought it was going to be fine. And I guess for the most part it was. But there was one point where I got a little bit over halfway, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need to do what I just did kind of again. And I started to break down a little bit because I wanted to stop, because I was in pain, physical pain, and I knew that if I had given up right there and then, I would be mentally more upset than my body was physically. And so when I got to about that 60% mark, I started to tell myself, it only hurts when you stop. It only hurts when you stop. And it hurts the most when you stop. And I would keep repeating this in my head over and over and over again, because it's true. Things hurt so much more when you stop. When I was a kid, one of my teachers told me, I was doing something, I don't know what it was, but I got the majority of the way through, and I said, screw this, and I threw it away. And he said, you've put so much time into it, why not just do it, just for the sake of doing it and get it over with? Because you've put all this time in, so all the time that you've put in, now you're going to waste. And that helps me as well to push forward. I put so much time into my whole entire life. Why not? I might as well just push forward a bit more and get it done. Because if you quit there, all the progress you've made, all the time you've put into it is also wasted now as well. I said in yesterday's video that the past 3 days have been really hard for me to make a video. I've not been motivated. I've not been wanting to, really. But I've made a goal to myself that I'll upload every day. And some days are going to be a bit rubbish. But that doesn't mean to not upload. The lesson today is, if you are making excuses for yourself, if you are putting restrictions on what you can and cannot do because of a certain thing, wake up. Wake up, because you don't have as much time as you may think, and you don't know what life will hold for you. You can go tomorrow. Stop putting restrictions on yourself. You can do it. Yeah, and again, it's about competing with yourself, who you was yesterday, not about with other people. And then number 2, remember, you only lose when you give up, and it hurts so much more to give up than to push forward, because years and years down the line, you'll feel upset for not carrying on, not pushing forward. So yeah, I think that's everything. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.